Some trends in 2025 they talked about, which was kind of interesting, nostalgia. Okay. Beverages are a big thing. So whether it's dirty sodas, bubble teas, mocktails, we talked about those things have exploded in popularity. So if you don't have those things on your menu, how do you look at saying what fits in my concept and what can I do? And it could be as easy as like the dirty sodas, or it could be as easy as just flavored iced teas.
What's a dirty soda?
This is Restaurantopia. Yeah, but think about that, value and innovation. So it's everything we've been talking about over the last couple episodes. Like what you need to be doing and thinking about is it's not about cheap. No. It's not about, it's not about.
It's just like I said about the protein plate.
Yeah.
If you have, throw out a number like, 16 ounces of protein on something, you can charge a ton more if the person who is on the strict diet didn't have to eat rice, didn't have to feel guilty that they had rice and or a bunch of carbohydrates, and then now they got a ton of protein.
Yeah, and the value's there because they're like, okay, that's what I wanted. I want a very high protein, satiating meal that, for sure. Yeah, so I love that. And then again, like the value and innovation can go together. You know what I mean? Because you're introducing items that are a little more innovative and creative and those things and providing the value. So the interesting thing I thought was that recession was the least mentioned word.
Oh, for
2%.
Really?
Yeah,
you mean,
how about that?
So CEOs who want to make sure that the stock doesn't get punished didn't mention recession.
No, they did not mention recession. No,
There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. The economy's going to be doing great.
We're great. We're good.
Yep. Now we're not going to have a great projection for 2026,
right?
But we're not going to miss it.
We're not going to. Yeah, we're exactly right. So let me see what else we got here. So they talked about another thing I thought was interesting. The third place is back, meaning you kind of have
the third place?
You kind of have home, you have work, and then you have your third place. So you have kind of your either your frequent pickup for your carryout, or your frequent place to stop for happy hour, or your you know what I mean, and creating those environments that allow somebody to say like this is the third home, this is the third place. You know what I mean? So I got work, I got home, I got work, and then I got my place. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's cool. That's old
and I got to
school.
be honest, I kind of have that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Unfortunately, right now they're going through some things where they're closed down. They had a fire. You know what I mean? But but they're opening back up.
Okay.
But that, when I look at that, how many times, like, and I think about just me as a consumer, like, as they've been closed, I found myself multiple times being like, hey, I'm going, you know what I mean? Like, whether just to carry out or grab a drink at the bar or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So,
when I was practicing law, that we always just went to the third place because we didn't want to get in traffic. It was like,
right. I was like, you're like, well, hey, why fight traffic? We just sit here for a couple hours.
Yeah, just talk a couple war stories and
absolutely
talk about the day.
Yeah. So they talked about to become that third place. Like, how are you rewarding repeat diner behavior? So how are you creating that environment, that place, whether it be loyalty or just creating a comfortable place that people want to be like, hey, this is my spot. You know what I mean? I thought that was interesting.
I think it goes back to training, whether it's training on cleanliness, training on customer service, training on the basics of hospitality.
Yeah. Some trends in 2025 they talked about, which was kind of interesting, nostalgia. Okay. Beverages are a big thing. So whether it's dirty sodas, bubble teas, mocktails, we talked about those things have exploded in popularity. So if you don't have those things on your menu, how do you look at saying what fits in my concept and what can I do? And it could be as easy as like the dirty sodas, or it could be as easy as just flavored iced teas.
What's a dirty soda?
The dirty soda is like basically a soft drink with something added to it, and it's normally like
vodka.
No, it's more. It's more like, almost like treated almost kind of like a coffee, where it's like a cream or something that kind of creates a completely different drink.
Okay.
And maybe people are adding alcohol. I mean,
perhaps.
To me, that's Jack and Coke, or but I don't think that's what they're talking about.
Okay, all right. That's because I was like, I have not heard that term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sauces. So the hot honeys and the spices and the Chipotle Adobe Ranch, and the McDonald's has this gold sauce they're doing now. All these different things. Like, how are you marketing those global influences? I don't know if you've heard of Dubai chocolate, but that's been like a huge thing. It's basically like pistachios and chocolate and sometimes like almost like a shredded wheat, like a Middle Eastern shredded wheat. Then this Dubai chocolate. I've seen it in desserts, like frozen desserts, like novelty things, all the way up to like a coffee shops carrying it, with like dates and different things, and just that kind of, it's a Middle Eastern dessert. But and then I talk about Middle Eastern and Mediterranean restaurants and Korean food, just global influences that are becoming very popular. Obviously, well-being, GLP-1s, the Maha movement, seed oils, non-GMO, all those different things that people are just trying to get better at. And then they talked about home catering. It's becoming more prevalent, and restaurants are launching programs to be able to, cater for, small to medium-sized groups in homes. You know what I mean?
I love the catering. I think that that's an area where you can do it really, really well and generate a ton of business. You just have to have the systems in place. And we've done episodes on catering, and I really encourage the listeners to look those up, because there is a blueprint and a formula for good catering. Oh, yeah. And once you execute on that, you will get a ton of repeat business. Yes. Because so many people miss on the fundamentals, whether it's the pickup time, whether it's how it's presented. Is your
not
food
in the Tyson chicken box?
Not in the
No offense to Tyson, but
but it's I don't think when the guy made the box for Tyson, he was thinking like, this is going to be a to-go container.
Brian's container to go home. No, I love that. The interesting thing, they talked about value menu traffic is down. Okay, despite deal-seeking behavior. So this is how I translate this. Is that we just kind of talked about it. Like, you think of a value menu, and you think a cheaper or less expensive price. Where I think restaurants need to look at it as they need to value frame. They need to not say low price, but they need to value frame it in like, okay, you're going to spend this amount of money, but you're going to get a good value. You're not going to be mad that you spent that money.
And I think that's really where it's at. It's been bastardized by the national chains. So when you go to McDonald's and you see the value menu, you're like, immediately, I don't want anything off of that.
Right. Yeah.
Versus, I feel like I got a good value by getting the 2 cheeseburger deal.
Yeah, yeah, and again, it's bundling items, 2 for 1 entrees.
Yep.
Making sure there's beverages and sides involved, and just a perceived, they talk about a perceived 30 to 40% value gain when you have an entree, beverage, and a side. So again, talking about protein some more, just purity and well-being. There's shifts to chicken, beef, and pork being very close in they're all being up in guest count or orders, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But instead of like having a graph that goes like hard this way, like more like this, that chicken, beef, and pork are very close, and then seafood trails, that pretty well. But I thought that was interesting to see how close those were, and what they were doing. So return to purity. This was kind of one of the last ones, talking about avoiding artificial flavors, avoiding artificial sweeteners, the whole GMOs and colorings, and whether you're frying in seed oil and whether or not, like, whatever part of the fence or boat you're on this, because I know there's plenty of people out there that preach both ends of it.
But this is the real thing. My son, I brought home a Code Red Mountain Dew, and he said, "I'm not drinking that. It's got a ton of red number 7 in it," or whatever the red dye was. Yeah. And he looked at it to me like it was poison. I was like, wow, for a 14-year-old to say like that.
I'm not drinking that.
Yeah. But that's an informed consumer who definitely has a stance on it and was almost offended. Now, he had a Shirley Temple the other day, and I'm sure that was like.
Oh, the grenadine had, that's all good.
I'm sure that was like, that didn't have anything red in it.
Yeah, there was, it was funny. My wife had brought home some healthier pastries, like kids' pastries, almost like Pop-Tart kind of things.
Okay.
And the value proposition of this company was that they were high in protein, low in added sugar.
Added.
Right. Okay. But here's the thing. Again, go back to the dyes. Like because I look at that stuff. Because I see I see cause and effect. Like I look at dyes and I see when my kids eat them and then how they act after. Like I see a difference. So there's it's not just like, well, I think these are bad. Like I look and I go, this is affecting behavior. You know what I mean? So this can't be good. You know what I mean? So but the thing was my wife bought them thinking like, okay, this is great, high protein, no sugar. Yeah. I'm looking at the ingredients, and the last 5 ingredients are nothing but dyes. Red 7, red 40, blue lake, yellow this. Yeah. And I'm like, what the? You know what I mean? Like this is not healthy. Like this is not.
No, but it goes to the consumer behavior. Your wife still purchased them because the perceived healthiness.
Yeah.
So is there something that a local independent restaurant can do to, put that out there.
Yep.
Again, I don't know how you're making your chicken, and you're not deep frying it, but are you pan, you put it in a pan with a ton of butter, like it's going to taste delicious.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's not fried.
Yeah.
So that's the healthy option.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. The calorie intake and the health impact is probably the same, but it's perceived. So they talk about, artificial sweeteners, artificial colors and flavors, genetically modified, bioengineered foods, and just the avoidance in people's diets that they want to get away from those things. And consumers are probably asking more questions of the restaurant when they're there. Their standard is a little bit different as far as that health goes. And also,
do you think the pendulum will swing the other way, and like in 5 years it'll be like, I want more GMO dye number 7?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. I mean, I think it's possible, but I think it's a swing that's going to continue to happen. I think we've really kind of bastardized our food. This is just insert Dave's opinion here.
Yeah.
We've really kind of like bastardized our food in the United States, and when you see the differences between Europe and Australia and some other countries that don't have the same processing we've got, and it's in companies that make it's the exact same product, but it's not the exact same product.
No,
because
totally
it's made
different.
Here with this, and it's made here with this. It's interesting, because you're making those potentially in the same plant, but you're making this one for here because they won't accept it. And you're making this one from here because we will,
Yeah. I think just generally, and even my own health choices when it comes to food, my own food choices when it comes to health, I guess I should say, is I pause and I like, what's in this? Like, is this going to make me feel like garbage later?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you look at a lot of national chains, and this is the great selling point and the benefit of local independence. Like, you're not getting your whole entree in a bag. I was picking up food. We went to the Chipotle place. So we had Chipotle, and that person was cutting open a bag, had the safety razor blade thing, and cut open a bag, poured it in there. I was like, you might not have a freezer, but that doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see kind of like, is the consumer going to push back a little bit on that and appreciate a real culinary experience?
And here's the thing. How much is guacamole at Chipotle? Do you know?
It's $2.
It's $3.50.
Oh, it's $3.50.
It's $3.50. And, they came out with this red chimichurri recently. I don't know if you've tried it. It's actually delicious.
Okay.
But you get a souffle cup with maybe if it's an ounce, I would be shocked. It's
How much is
$1.
Oh, $1 an ounce.
And there can't be you can't have 5 cents into it. You know what I mean? So I look at that and I say, like, it's genius. You know what I mean? And it's actually very delicious. You could tell it's made from scratch, and it's like it's a good flavor. It's good. You know what I mean? I've had it 2 or 3 times now, and it's the same. It's the same. You know what I mean? So they're executing it at a high level. But I go back and I'm like, $1. Like, every order, it's $1.
Yeah.
And you're virtually making the $1. You know what I mean? It's not like
huge gross profit.
Yeah.
When I was at Chipotle, it was, I think, $43 or $45 for 3 people. Mm-hmm. I did get the guacamole. Mm-hmm. I did not look at the price. I like guacamole, so I wanted that on my...
No, but you have etched in your brain $2, right? Because that's what it was. Like, oh, I had $2. Yeah, it's not $2.
It's not. Oh my God! No, I have buyer's remorse.
So, kind of to finish up a little bit, they talk about beverages being a huge opportunity and something the consumer wants. Iced coffees, specialty coffees, lemonades, flavored lemonades, slushies. I've seen some restaurants do. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically a company. They sell you kind of like the machine. It's almost like a milkshake blender, and you get the cups that are like frozen solid, different flavored ice cream milkshake type things, and then it's got a special thing that kind of heats it up and blends it.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And I've seen restaurants doing this in the back to make milkshakes very quickly. You know what I mean?
Smart.
It's a little bit of investment with the machine and stuff like that, but they're doing very well with it.
But low labor because
exactly. You're not squeezing Hershey syrup and dumping stuff it's all ready to go.
There's no waste.
Yeah,
because it's whatever your per unit cost is your per unit cost.
Yeah, and typically that would have been you'd see it at a convenience store, gas station type situation where they're doing it in the back of a restaurant. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But talking about beverages, protein shakes, infused lemonades, again the dirty sodas, mocktails, all those kinds of things, boost beverages. So I don't know how to execute this in a restaurant, but they talk about how those kind of meal replacement type beverages are up, being your Ensures and your Boosts and your different things like that.
Really?
High protein or meal replacement.
Yeah. Now
that those are up actually in broadline food service.
Okay, that's interesting because I went to my son's basketball tournament 3 weekends ago, and the place had amazing food service. They just had a ton of food service stuff, all local independents, and they had a smoothie shop. I got multiple. I mean, it was a 3-day event, and I probably had 5-6 smoothies. I got and I wasn't working out. I got the pre-workout and the protein, like like it was an add-on, and I'm like, yeah, add that and that, and I was like, that's a great upsell, because like, what's your mindset and your framework for what that should cost?
Right.
You have nothing. So it's like, it costs $2 for that. Perfect. Throw that in.
Yeah, and you're like 49 cents, 49 cents, or whatever it is.
And it's and you know, you may have 10 cents of whatever the magic powder stuff is.
Whatever it is. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, if that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also couldn't tell. It's not like I could say, oh, this
was so much better with the protein boost.
This is 40 grams of protein. Who knows?
Yeah.
So like,
No, for sure. For sure. Here's the health food descriptors I was talking about. So high protein, healthy. The biggest increase in traffic, or I guess I should say orders when they talk about traffic, is heart healthy.
Okay.
Low fat and fat free being right behind it, and then organic and locally sourced and grown.
Okay.
So, but as far as traffic share, like high protein is the one, and that's something you really got to probably be looking at. I mean, even you look at Starbucks, whether you like Starbucks or not, but they've got that protein foam. If you've seen that now, it's an add-on to any coffee. You can add protein foam.
Okay.
And I haven't had it. I don't eat dairy, but I'm assuming it's some sort of dairy type, high protein, that they're putting in there. But I'm saying that
it's probably just whey protein.
It's an upsell on every drink. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of locations selling protein. In a place that you wouldn't think of protein.
No. But they identified the market demand and they product need fit. I mean, they filled it.
Yep, no question. So a little bit about beverages, and then it talks a little more sauce and things like that, and the global inspirations on that. But that's I'm going to put the deck in the show notes, so you'll be able to check that out and see what's going on and see what kind of resonates with your restaurant and what you can do. But yeah, I always like to bring that Circana data to you guys every year, and this was the time to do it, and so here we are.
And time to step up your restaurant game, because things are they're not going to be great, and from Dave's data, it's going to be flat. So work on your operation, work on the fundamentals, and I think you'll have a good 2026.
Yep. Okay. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the year. Restaurantopia.com.